Hi there, this is a video on how to set up a virtual machine on your computer so that you can run an entirely different operating system. I'm actually going to set up another Windows system on mine so that I'll be running the same operating system just at a different bit rate, an older version. This way you can mask your IP address and open different Google accounts without Google knowing where you're running this information from. You see I'm right here at VMware Products Player Overview.html. You can download it right here. I've already done that. When you download it, right here, download it and install it like you would any other program. And after you've done that, you can open up the software. I have it saved right to my desktop. And this is the screen we get. We're going to create a new virtual machine. This is the first time I've opened this here. And we're going to install a disk in our disk drive. I'm putting the disk into my drive, my 32-bit Windows disk. When it recognizes the disk, you can hit next. Okay, I enter my certificate of authenticity number on here and hit next. I'm going to make the virtual machine name Windows Vista 2. And the location is under my virtual machines file right here. Because I'm not going to have to do much on this machine, I'm going to make my memory just 20 gigabytes. You can adjust yours depending how much memory and RAM you have available. Here you can review everything you have. See how much hard disk memory you have available. And we're going to power on this virtual machine after we've created it. I'm going to click Finish. Okay, you can see right now that Windows is loading the files. We're going to have Windows running on here soon. Click OK there. And we're just going to let Windows start to run on here. You can see there. I'm going to pause it while Windows is installed. Just so you can see more of the install screens. Windows Vista 32-bit is being installed here. Alright, one more window here you can see as it's installing. It's going to have to restart several times. It's going to copy some files. You can just let this process run through. Hi there, now that you've set up your virtual machine and installed your operating system, I'm going to show you how to make a clone of that install so that in the future when you set up machines, the install will go much more quickly. I have VMware open here, you can see, but we actually don't need that yet. First thing you want to do is go to where your install was saved. It should have automatically gone to your My Documents folder and created a virtual machine folder. You're going to right click and drag the file, and when you release it to another location, you can copy it. And that process is going to take about 5 minutes. So I'm going to pause the video while it copies. Okay, you can see here the copy file. We're going to rename it something more appropriate. And then we're going to go and open up VMware Player. I already have that open here. I'm actually going to close out of it and reopen it. You can see the icon there. Okay, now that we're open here, we're going to open a virtual machine and navigate to our new clone file and select it. You can see here the new one will be at the top. we are going to edit the virtual machine settings. And the first thing we're going to do is click Options and rename it something more appropriate. You can go back over to Hardware. You can adjust the amount of RAM. After you're done doing that, click OK. After you've done that, you can see the renamed file here. We're going to click Play Virtual Machine. You're going to get this warning here. You need to make sure to select I copied it, not I moved it, to let VMware Player know that this is a copy and it needs to have a unique name. I'm going to click No there. You don't need this update. And click OK. Alright, and you can see Windows starting up here. I'm in my clone 2. You can see everything there. It's a basic Windows install. This is much faster than reinstalling from the disk every time. Hi there. This is just a quick video on how to use Qzx900 to hide your IP or mask your IP address. We're going to search for it right here, Firefox add-ons. And of course I'm using Firefox right here, my browser. And we're going to look for Qzx900. There you go. Click right there. And continue to download. This is a free add-on. Although they would like it if you gave them some money. Okay, click Install Now. And I'm going to restart the browser. Alright, you can see it brings us right to the page right here. I'm actually going to close that, go up to Tools, and click on Qzx900 Standard. Okay, make sure it's active, and this icon will pop up here. I'm going to click on that, and we're going to just add a new proxy. You can get lists of proxies from lots of different places. We get ours from Squid Proxy. I'm going to enter in that IP address right here. We've selected manual proxy configuration and your port, and click OK. You can see I have that listed right here. And we're going to close out this window. You can go right up here to Tools, Qzx900 Standard, and select our new proxy. So we're using that now. Okay, you can see here I ended up having to select a different one, but we're using 173.234 for all URLs, and over here we can check to make sure that is what we're using. You can tell it's active right now because the little icon is spinning. And it's as easy as that. There are other tools inside Qzx900 where you can set up certain sites where that proxy will become activated, but that's a little bit more advanced. This should work for most of what you need. Hi there, this is just a quick video showing you some of Qzx900's more advanced settings. You can see I have the plugin installed already, and I'm here in Firefox. And I'm going to click on this little icon here to get to the advanced settings page. Now specifically what I'm going to show you how to do is teach the plugin to go to use a certain IP address when visiting certain websites. Now right here I already have a proxy set up to be used on Google pages. And if you want to look here, I've set that up. We actually put in a whitelist. I just have the main Google URL here with a couple of wildcards so that when you go to any Google page, it could be mail.google.com or maps.google.com, this specific IP address that I set up here will be used. So we're going to set up a whole new one for Yahoo pages. So I'm going to click on Add a New Proxy. And the first thing we'll do is enter in our proxy information. We need our host or IP address. I'm going to take one off of my list of proxy servers here. As I said in the last video, you can get those many different places. We get ours from Squid Proxies. You need to enter in your port number there. And we can click General and enter in a proxy name. I'm just going to put Yahoo in there so that when I'm looking at my list of proxies, I'll know that this is the one I use for Yahoo sites. And then we can click on Patterns, and this is where we enter in the URLs where we want this IP address to be used. I'm going to click Add New Pattern. I'm going to name my pattern. Once again, I'm just typing in Yahoo. That's just a name for us so that we remember that this is the pattern we've established for Yahoo pages. Now, as you can see down here, you have two options. You can enter in a URL with wildcards, just like you saw with Google, which are the asterisks there, or you can use a regular expression. We're going to use a whitelist and enter in this URL pattern so that when Foxy Proxy sees that you're at any.yahoo.com page, it will have to use this new IP address. Just like with Google, it could be mail.yahoo.com, maps.yahoo.com, anything like that. You'll be using this one consistent IP address. Your other option is to click on Blacklist, which means if I click Blacklist here, it would mean that anytime we go to one of these pages, Foxy Proxy specifically knows to not use this IP address, and it'll go to a different default one that you've set up. I'm going to click Whitelist and click OK. You can see everything is set up there. And we're going to click OK down here at the bottom of that box. And then you'll be able to see that in our list under the proxy name. After you have everything set up, you can see that it's working. And when you go to a web page, the little icon here will spin or change colors to show you that it's being used. So we're going to go here, maps.google.com, which is one of the URLs we set up. And you can see that it's flashing there, which means that it is working, and you are using your proxy.
All right, what you are looking at is a site called whoer.net, and if you have never been there before, it's WHOER.net, and then when you get there, click on the Extended tab, or the Extended button, and what that's going to do is Whoer basically gives you all the information about yourself that is publicly available online. In other words, this with your current setup, your current browser, whether it's Internet Explorer and Firefox, and your current computer, your current operating system, and all the plugins that you have, that's what Whoer will do. Will show you all the information that your current setup on your computer is broadcasting out into the internet about you. And why is this so important? Well, we've talked a lot about hiding your tracks. If you go into the black hat techniques area of your members area and you watch these two videos here, how to set up a virtual machine using VMware and hide your IP address using Foxy Proxy. We've talked about using virtual machines or using a virtual machine like TrustVM. These are all ways that you can hide your IP address, which is the numerical address of your router or your computer on the internet, hiding your IP address from the likes of Google or PayPal or Google AdSense or whoever you're trying to be anonymous from. We've talked a lot about that, and which, if you're dealing with a huge entity like Google or PayPal or something like, or MSN or something like that, Facebook, these types of large entities, you're going to be okay just following these, either using a virtual machine or a virtual private server, clearing your cookies, or following these two videos here that we have in the black hat section. That's going to hide your IP address and make sure that you're not giving yourself away from various cookies dropped on your machine. However, if you're in a situation where you are dealing with a smaller type website, for instance a blog maybe that only has a few thousand visitors per month, and you are commenting, say you're using multiple usernames on that blog to comment at different times to get backlinks and traffic, or maybe you're taking advantage of a forum in your niche and you have multiple usernames on that forum, and you're maybe creating a discussion between the usernames, you can be very careful with your IP address, maybe using multiple virtual machines like a Trust VM type setup, or maybe having virtual machines on your own computer like we show you in these two videos. You can be really careful with a virtual private server, or using Foxy proxy and proxies. And in a smaller type situation like a forum that's owned by a few people or a blog, you can still give yourself away to that website owner, and that's the situation that I'm talking about here, protecting yourself from. And that's why Whooer is such an important website for you, because you can go to Whooer and see all the information that, say if someone was taking a little deeper look, what they would see. Now if you're dealing with a Google or a Facebook, they're dealing with millions and millions of users, and they're unable to really get in depth on each individual user to really look in depth. With a site like Google or Facebook, even like PayPal, it's unlikely that they're going to really get in depth into the details of your computer and your setup as an individual. Even though the information might be available to them, they just have so much data that they do everything just with algorithms, and mostly dealing with cookie type things and IP address. However, if you're dealing with a smaller type setup like a forum or a blog or a smaller website, and you're using that website for traffic and links, and you have multiple identities on that website, that is a situation where the website owner might dig a little deeper into your identity and try to check out who you are and try to connect your various profiles together. Now, if you look, this is all information that is my computer setup is currently giving away out for the public to see. It shows my browser, my screen, the screen depth, the navigator, the Mozilla browser that I'm using. It talks about my the specific browser version that I have, down to a very long build ID. Talks about my my settings, the specific settings that I have set up. It talks about QuickTime. Check it out. We got a QuickTime, my Flash plugin, what exact version of Flash that I have, all these QuickTime plugin installations. It talks about Java, my specific version of Google Update. Check this out. Microsoft Office 2003. Look at all the information. It tells me that I have the Silverlight plugin, I have Windows Live Photo Gallery. These are all things that my computer is broadcasting out for the public to see. Now, I want you to imagine that you were using a forum, you had multiple usernames on that forum. We're going to teach you how to utilize that for traffic and links. But say you had every single username, they did a little detective work on you, and they realized every single profile has this exact same set of plugins, this exact same, they have Microsoft 2003, they have this exact Facebook plugin, they have this version of Flash, they have these specific browser settings. Imagine that they saw and they saw, oh, but wow, the IP address of all these users is different. But everything else about your online profile is exactly the same, down to the exact build ID of your browser. That, you better believe that's going to raise some red flags for that website owner, that forum owner, or that blog owner who's doing a little bit of detective work on you. And so what I'm talking about here is if you're doing the kind of techniques we're talking about in this specific course, you're going to need to be a little more careful about your footprint, because it's very easy to connect those usernames together just based off of other footprint type things. Browser ID number, plugins, a combination of certain plugins that is unique to your machine. And remember, when you look at this video here, this virtual machine using VMware, we're talking about having the exact same settings because you're setting up a new virtual machine on your computer each time, and each time you set up a new virtual machine, it's completely identical. Your location is also going to be identical, and your operating system. You can see here my exact operating system that I have. Now I'm covering up my IP address here, but the other thing, if you scroll down to the interactive detection section of the page, you can see that your IP address is being broadcast if you have Java enabled on your in this specific browser session. Also, Flash can give away your IP address, so you could actually be doing everything through a proxy. And that specific website owner could come and see that you're using a proxy, could see the specific owner of the proxy, and it's possible that they would be able to see both your proxy address and the address of your computer, because Java, which is a little program that runs on your computer, is giving away your IP address, or Flash might be giving away your IP address. So why do I bring all this up? This could easily hamper your online efforts, especially if you're doing somewhat of a gray hat type technique where you are using multiple usernames on the same site or something like that. Your Java and your Flash right here could very easily be giving you away a huge footprint. Or even if all of your proxies are owned by the same company and they can easily see the name of the company that owns your proxies, they could easily look in and say, hey, this person has 5 usernames. It's true that their IP address is different each time, but everything else, the proxy address or the proxy owner, everything else is exactly the same. Or let's say you're using Tor. It's clear to the public that you're using Tor. So say you have 5 usernames, they're all commenting on a certain site, they're all owned by you, and you use Tor. Well, that person will be able to see, the website owner will be able to see every time these 5 usernames come to our site, they are all going through Tor, and they all have the exact same setup of plugins, the exact same operating system. The only thing that's different is the IP address that they use to connect to our site. So you can see that even if you cover your IP address, there's still a lot that could be revealed out there to various website owners. And like I said, I think probably if you're dealing with Google or Facebook, I don't think you have to worry about this level of in-depth detective work. But if you're dealing with a smaller type website, which we're talking about now with getting links and traffic from smaller websites, non-Google websites, this can definitely be an issue as far as covering your tracks. So we're going to talk a little bit about, in some further videos, about how you can turn Flash off so Flash doesn't give up your IP address, how you can turn off Java so Java doesn't give up your IP address, how you can use anonymous proxies that don't show a footprint of a certain proxy owner, and how you can be careful with other things like Tor, how you can vary your plugin setup and your operating system type setup, and even your browser setup. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that in future videos, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention because I know there's a lot of people that are going to really start applying some of this stuff, and so I want you to just go and check out your profile on Hooer, and just go there and check out what kind of a footprint your current setup is giving away. Now you might find that when you go there that your Java and your Flash aren't giving up your IP address, and it depends on the proxy provider that you're using. If you're using an anonymous, a level 1 proxy provider, then they're not going to give away that all those proxies are owned by the same person. They might not even give away that they're a proxy at all. So it's important that you go and check out your current setup and see what kind of a footprint are you giving away. If you're using a virtual machine provider like TrustVM, and you have multiple virtual machines, I want you to go to log into each one of them and go to whoer.net and check out is there any similarity between those different virtual machines as far as the footprint that you're giving out. Because if you start to use those virtual machines for stuff on smaller type sites, like a smaller forum or a blog in your niche, you're going to be giving away a lot more of a footprint than just your IP address. So go check it out. We're going to be releasing more videos on how to be anonymous, completely anonymous, even where if someone came to check you out, they wouldn't be able to connect any of your online identities at all. But go and check it out on whoer.net and see what you can find.